It feels like YouTube has become more and more sanitized. Thumbnails are a cluster of sickeningly bright colors, videos are edited like dangling keys in front of a baby. Every video you see nowadays is being sponsored by some company, so no one really wants to be too unsavory with their content. You might see modern YouTube and its cynical corporate scene and say to yourself, we should go back to when YouTubers could say anything. We should go back to 2017. And I'd have to tell you to shut up.
What we do here is go back.
Kill yourself.
Why the hell did anyone ever like this guy? This isn't even a case of his stuff aging poorly or his videos being too offensive for today's audiences. Even back in like 2017, a lot of people disliked Leafy, and it's very easy to see why. His videos sucked. They were 10 plus minutes of him making fun of children and calling weird people slurs while brain-melting CSGO surf gameplay played in the background. There was very little editing, and Leafy was just a boring person to listen to. He had about all the charisma of a high school bully. This was back when cringe culture content was at an all-time high. There were countless cringe compilation channels and videos all over YouTube, where I suppose the intention was just to mock people who acted in strange and off-kilter ways. The thing is though, the only people who actually care about cringe content are teenage boys or man-children. Everyone else isn't willing to waste their precious time and subject themselves to videos they find unbearable just so that they can mock people who are either obviously neurodivergent or literally children.
Just remember, do good things happen to you. Isn't that right, ladies?
It is.
And as always, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and do something good, keeping you on the inside fact.
I never understood why people say, do good things and good things will happen to you. Like when they say that, I just think like, okay, if good things didn't happen to you, would you not be doing the good things in the first place? Would you have took the eggs and fucking ran with it, huh? Would you have took the eggs, ran with it, and then took the eggs while they're driving after you and throw the eggs at the car with your pizza? I mean, what would you have done, huh? Would you have took the eggs and then followed them back to their house and then raped them?
Leafy's content appealed to people who cared way too much about looking cool, which is kind of ironic considering Leafy has always been kind of a loser. His videos were like the garbage fast food of YouTube content, and for whatever reason, millions of people ate it up. Leafy has been permanently banned off YouTube for obvious reasons now, and has since moved to Rumble, where he streams and keeps appealing to his audience of people who never grew past their calling random people slurs phase. My biggest grievance with him is that he single-handedly pioneered one of the worst genres on YouTube. You know what I mean, those barely edited videos with Minecraft gameplay in the background where some 20-something-year-old complains about mundane Twitter drama and somehow manages to make an 8-minute video out of 3 tweets.
Like Jackie Chan, but a little.
You can't mention Leafy without talking about Idubbz. Idubbz is one of the only edgy YouTubers that I actually watched. I was really into his Content Cop series. Content Cop was basically just Idubbz calling out other YouTubers like any drama channel, but the way he did it was always in these elaborate, incredible, and extremely entertaining ways. His videos were well edited, well presented, and weren't just him rambling on about nothing for 10 minutes. It used to be like an event. Once a Content Cop came out on a YouTuber, that was basically it for a year. That YouTuber would be relentlessly mocked and scrutinized. But you see, there's a bit of a problem. The series was very much a product of that mid-2010s anti-SJW era, super edgy time period thing. It leads to moments like where Ian travels across multiple states just to say the N-word while taking a picture, and then he has to justify it in this video when honestly he should have just said he did it because he thought it was funny. I'd respect that a lot more than this weird justification attempt for using the N-word. Like, nigga please. I guess it's not fair to talk about Idubbz's old content without mentioning that he doesn't stand by most of his old videos and viewpoints now. He's enlisted all the Content Cop videos and made a video explaining why he's changed his content so much. And some people were really upset by this. Let's be real, even if Ian is only cleaning up his image to be more advertiser friendly, is that really the main issue here? There was a brief period of time where he wasn't doing Content Cop stuff anymore, and he was making these really fun mini documentary videos. And I think he should have stuck to doing more of those because, at the very least, they were pretty entertaining. Without his edge, all of Idubbz' non-documentary videos are just really boring. Maybe he should have made more epic fire diss tracks. Oh look, a sex offender. And PewDiePie, whoa!
What a fucking...
I didn't really watch PewDiePie in his prime. I kinda hopped on the bandwagon during the Minecraft resurgence of 2019, and during the whole T-Series war thing as well. I don't even think PewDiePie was an edgy YouTuber. I think he went just a bit too far with a few jokes, and had a little Freudian slip at the bridge. But the whole T-Series thing happened, and it's really hard to look back at all of this and not question why this campaign against T-Series was fueled by so much casual racism. There wasn't a need for the racism either, because PewDiePie versus T-Series was always about a singular creator versus a giant corporation, and the battle for an independent YouTube. In both of PewDiePie's diss tracks against the company, he makes some very racist Indian jokes, and at the time I didn't think much about them because they were presented in a way where you'd go, oh look, the sex offender said the thing was racist, so obviously they're not racist, or oh, he's just joking, it's all a part of a joke. But then there was a shooting in New Zealand where a white guy live-streamed himself gunning down multiple Muslims at a mosque, men, women, and children. And right before he begins this act of terrorism, he shouts out PewDiePie by telling everyone watching the livestream to subscribe to him, as was custom during the PewDiePie vs T-Series campaign. And look, I'm not blaming Felix for any of this. Obviously, no content creator is in control of what their fans do. But at the same time, you have to question why so many people of very harmful beliefs gravitated toward him. Maybe it could be that time he paid some poor people on Fiverr who probably didn't know any better to write out an anti-Semitic phrase on a piece of cardboard and wave it around like children. Maybe it could be that time he shouted out ER, a channel that's run by someone who definitely believes in the Great Replacement. Maybe it's the bridge incident, or maybe it's him saying that Indians have feces in their brain. Who knows? At least nowadays he's moved on from all of this and doesn't promote anything indirectly harmful anymore. I fell off PewDiePie during the whole T-Series thing, once again, not out of moral compulsion, but I just didn't really enjoy most of his videos without feeling like I was contributing to some greater cause. There was a time period where I would unironically say floor gang, awoo, whenever I sat on the floor. I regret nothing.
Nobody even wants you here.
Filthy Frank was one of the greats, I think. I don't know. I also didn't really watch his stuff back in the day. Joji is the good future version of edgy YouTubers. His videos were very much bordering on the lines of what is and isn't acceptable on YouTube. A lot of his videos are still shocking to today, like hair cake, toilet shrimp. Some of these videos are actually really disgusting, and I honestly love that. Filthy Frank works better than most of the other channels we've talked about today because the character that's being portrayed here is so incredibly exaggerated and extreme that it's very obvious that you're not supposed to take him seriously at all. Not to mention that Filthy Frank or Pink Guy or any of the weird characters in this channel's lore are always the center and the butt of the joke. It's not children or neurodivergent people or Indians, so it rarely ever feels mean-spirited despite just how edgy all of it is. Everyone should know at this point that George Joji Miller decided to kill off the character of Filthy Frank and abandon his channel in order to pursue a legitimate music career. This is the best thing that could have happened because 1, Joji always displayed his musical talent. Even some of his Pink Guy songs were pretty decent if you just ignored the lyrics. And 2, he couldn't be an edgy YouTuber forever. I'm sure he saw the writing on the wall for edgy YouTube content, the obnoxious fanbase that he had gathered, and realized he wanted to be doing other things. And it looks like that choice paid off. He's more successful now than he's ever been. I actually listen to some of his music from time to time. It's pretty good. The truth is, edgy content has not disappeared from YouTube. It's just not as popular as it used to be, and I believe a lot of that comes from people just being more sensitive in today's society, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'll never understand why edgelords get offended at people getting offended by content that is supposed to be offensive, and honestly, most people will not get upset by jokes or content that is edgy if it's funny enough or at least some thought or care has been put into it. Edgy content that isn't mean-spirited is usually just fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's also just fine. YouTube's current problem as they try and become more and more advertiser friendly isn't going to be solved by letting creators like Leafy call children retarded. Also, YouTube Shorts is way worse than anything 2017 YouTube could come up with.